So exactly 2 years ago, a few of us ran the Art Loeb. You can see some of the footage from that run here now, which was absolutely incredible and I have a whole separate video on. But when we were out there, we discovered a new loop that left out of Sunburst Campground and desperately wanted to come back to check it out. A little over a year ago, I had a stress fracture, which unfortunately took me out of running for about 9 months. But earlier this year, when things started getting better for me, Taylor and I picked a date and put it on the calendar. I think the footage from our first run was so compelling that we were able to get a few more folks to join us this time. Apparently I'm injury prone though, and exactly 7 weeks ago I tore my bicep tendon. But I got lucky and had surgery quickly, and ultimately it didn't impact this run. But here we are, we're back with what was supposed to be a 50K, although turned into 25 miles. But the scenery and the whole trip was an absolute blast, and I hope you enjoy. Today is Friday, October 14th, and I've got my stuff packed, just waiting on Taylor to get here, and we're about to go on another adventure. I know you're looking at that stuff, you're thinking, I want to be in the woods, I want to run. Sorry, bud. Just still waiting. Just waiting and waiting and waiting. Longest wait of my life. He was just admitted. Should be here any second. Glad to see you were able to make it.
I made it.
Hope Bo didn't pack too much. There he is.
Oh, thanks.
Good to see you, sir.
How are you?
Good man, you.
Let's go. Oh, cheers. We're filming this whole thing.
We are.
Let's go.
So by the time we picked up Taylor's brother Bo and got on the road, it was about 9 o'clock. We had a 3-hour drive ahead of us, and we were worried if we'd be able to get a campsite. This campsite's a first come, first serve, and 2 years ago we just missed out. Fortunately, Aaron drove separately and left a little before us, but we had no way of contacting him as cell signal was completely gone down in the valley. But we enjoyed the view, enjoyed the company, and we're really just pumped to get the weekend started. Wow, there's already... Oh, there's Aaron. Nice, we got a spot. This place is already like full. I mean, he might have gotten the last spot.
Right here.
Yeah, right there. That was our spot. Yep. You got a spot. Did you get like the last spot?
I think so. We have to confirm with the host.
We're filming each other. We got our tent set up. This is true, much better than last time. We actually have a table and a little bit of a spread. By about 1:30, we'd gotten all our stuff unpacked, and we still had a lot of time to kill. So the first thing we did was head over to the trailhead to check it out. So let's talk a little bit about this route and the initial climb. Of all the things that we were doing on that route, the initial ascent was by far the most demanding. It was about a 3,000-foot climb over the first 3 miles, with the first mile in particular being incredibly steep. That initial ascent isn't one of the more well-trafficked routes, but we did find a few funny things online when we read all trails. Here's a few reviews. I'm going to finish this trail next time. The way up is so steep, takes twice as long to get up as it did to slide down. Yes, I sat down and slid down off and on the last mile. It's far safer. Here's another one. Well, that's not happening yet. I'll be back. So after we comically reviewed the initial ascent, we ended up heading down to the river to check out the water crossing that we'd be facing at the end of the route as well. And after hanging out at the river for a bit, we drove further south on Lake Logan River to check out Wildcat Falls. After Wildcat, we went just a little further south on Lake Logan, down to Bubbling Brook Falls. This would be near where we'd cross Lake Logan the following day and hop on the Mountain to Sea Trail. This ended up being a great little spot, although it was tucked away nicely in the woods. We had a great time taking photos, climbing on the waterfalls, and just hanging out. We got back to camp, we cooked some burgers, and we waited for Kevin to get there. He ended up leaving Atlanta around 3. But while we were waiting, Bo, Taylor, and I ended up deciding to go hit up Black Balsam for the sunset. This ended up being well worth the trip, as the sunset was awesome. It's amazing though how when you get up on those knobs and you're exposed to the wind, the temp can drop dramatically. The winds were howling and our hands were freezing. One nice bonus though is I got a bunch of sweet shots of Taylor that he can use as his own B-roll when he starts a YouTube channel. Sunset up here on Black Balsam. It's like a peak.
Very peak. Very cool.
Yeah, Aaron was lame. Didn't want to come with us.
Or smart.
Or
Stay
smart.
by the fire.
He's sitting by a fire. Yeah. Alright, we'll head back, some sleep, and then hit it hard in the morning. You look cold.
So cold.
So cold. I think it's like, what, 5:15? Just trying to get the coffee warmed up. And we'll head out. I think we're about ready. A little after 5:35. Alright.
You ready? Let's go, baby.
This is no joke.
Sorry.
Man, to say this is steep is an understatement. Straight up the friggin' mountain. I don't know if you can see the angle here. Alright, 1 mile in, flattened out a little bit. It's narrow.
Aaron is just raw dogging this thing.
I can't even focus on you, it's so dark.
Here, let me just lighten you up like this.
There we go, wait, hold on.
Aaron is raw dogging this.
Problem is it's so dark you can't see. We see mountain ranges out there. We're on this cliff. Here, wait, I'll turn my light off. There we go. Yeah, just on the side of this cliff. You can see that way. We're making it. We're what are we? Let's see. 1.24 miles in. A little over 1,300 feet of climbing. So we're probably about halfway. Maybe not quite. All right, we've made it to the top of the first peak. Aaron climbed up on a rock. A little bit of sunlight. We are now, let's see, what are we? All right, we're 3.13 in. It's taken us an hour and 40 minutes. We've climbed 2,800 feet. That first mile, I think, was the worst.
Our slowest 5K ever.
Yeah, slowest 5K ever. But we haven't even, an hour 45K. And Aaron and I pulled the wheel a little, I can't even talk, a little bit ahead. Just waiting on the rest of the group. I see headlamps. Hey, boys. Yeah, or Sir rolled an ankle.
I knew you were going to be filming me while I was filming you.
Exactly.
That was my goal, baby.
No place I'd rather be.
I know, what are we? I don't even know what mile we're at. I'm not on that screen. Oh, this is Purdy. It's 3-6 in. This is an awesome view.
How do you like the rice treats?
I do, I like it a lot.
So with that initial climb behind us, we trekked on, although it was hard to get a lot of speed with the terrain that we were dealing with. One funny anecdote, shortly after we reached the peak on that climb, I saw a woman who had to be in her 60s just hanging out up there by herself. Bo told me later, though, that her husband was there with her and they must have camped in the area. All right, we're in the section on the way down towards Lake Logan Road. It's pretty awesome in this section. Finally able to run just a little bit. All right, so we're taking a break, make sure we don't lose the group. Let's see where we're at. 8.14 miles, 3.5 hours in, 3,500 feet of elevation, average pace of 26 a mile. 26 a mile, that's not a bad pace.
For most of it being
Yeah, for going 3,500 feet. So now we're just waiting on the group. Look at you,
second banana of the day going down right now.
looking sporty over there, down to the t-shirt. What's up? Caw-caw, caw-caw. We're getting close. I can see the road cut through. Nothing.
Man, we just enjoying some
We're
great conversation.
Yeah. Caw-caw,
Took off
caw-caw.
my jacket.
I love Sierra Designs.
Right near Lake Logan Road. What's the name of this spot? We don't know. We're about to hop on the Mountain Sea Trail, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? We're doing good. Just got a little beef jerky, filled some water. Yeah, there's the first water stop right there. The Bubbling Brook.
Action shot.
Action shot. Yeah. You bonked yet?
Twice. It was amazing.
I have that on video. So one fun fact about summiting Devils Courthouse from the Mountain to Sea Trail, you actually go right over the top of a tunnel. All right, made it up here on Devils Courthouse. We are now 10.5 miles in, 4 hours and 45 minutes, and it is nice up here. You can basically divide this route into 3 sections. The first 8 miles and the last 6 miles are secluded and not well trafficked. But that middle section is crowded. It's like going to the zoo.
Yeah, it's nice. More water. 12 miles. Hit our second water stop. Kevin over there with his third sandwich.
"13 miles in, and we're about to summit Pinnacle or Sam Knob. Right up that way. So we're 14 miles in, and now up on Sam Knob. It's pretty awesome up here. I don't know where the rest of the crew is, but I'm sure they'll be up here shortly. So one of the downsides of running with a drone is it takes a bit of time to get it in the air. So I raced ahead up Sam Knob so that the guys wouldn't have to wait. But after I was done flying, I never saw them, and it took me a minute to figure out where they were.
There you guys are. I don't know how I missed you.
We tried to go to the other half of the summit too.
Oh.
That's all right.
Where's Kevin and Bo?
They're coming.
Oh, careful.
That was completely wrong.
It was probably around this time that we started looking at our watches and realizing we weren't going to get done as early as we thought we would. This trail is not fast. Between heavy leaves and rocks, we didn't end up being able to run as much of it as we had wanted to.
Black Balsam Trailhead.
Out here taking a break.
I don't know if you can hear me, it's windy, but we made it to Black Balsam. And it's about 30 degrees cooler than it was 4 minutes ago. But it feels awesome. The winds are slight. Very slight. All right, that's Sam Knob over there. And then we ran down into that grassy field and then came up the trailhead over here.
Got us at 17.5 miles. We're 8 hours in. We're going at a 27.5 minute pace. But I think we're gonna probably shave a few miles off for the interest of not getting to the camp at 9 p.m. so that we can cook our 1 hour baked potatoes.
This section between Black Balsam and Tennent Mountain has always been my favorite. And it's the only reason that I carried all the way to the drone, just so that I could get some footage up there of us on the mountain with no tree cover.
All right, we just came down off of Tennent Mountain. We're on Ivester Gap. We're gonna scratch the Shining Rock segment and head back to camp. Probably 6 miles to go. All right, we're on the Fork Mountain Trail, just off of Ivester Gap. It's maybe the best section of like runnable trail yet. So I'll have to catch up with them. Got 5.75 left. Feeling good. It is warm.
One fun fact during this section, we saw what legitimately looked like a Bigfoot track. Now, I am not one to believe this kind of nonsense, but I can quite honestly say I don't know what else it was, because it was an enormous footprint. But nonetheless, this last section was great. We actually finally got to run a little bit. The leaves were in full effect, and we were enjoying the last few minutes that we'd have on the trail before we arrived back down to Sunburst Campground.
So this is the last little bit up before we drop down at a staggering pace. Ooh, it's tight. This is it. I think this is the last of the climbing. Now it's all downhill. So you ready to bomb 2,000 feet of elevation drop? Yes. All right, so we made it back. I beat them. So drop my bag. Now I'm gonna wait for them. Oh, there they are. Coming over the river. I was hoping to catch you guys across the water.
All in, we had a blast. I ended up adding a little bit extra at the end just to get in a marathon distance, and this ended up being my longest run in probably a year and a half. We're definitely looking forward to the next one.
How do you feel? You feel good, Aaron? Feel brand new? Ready to go do it again? Basically.